So I'm in Sweden, and it's starting to. It's election time, and it's starting to near to be elections in Sweden. It's about 2 weeks until that time, and I wanted to talk like trying to explain now the differences I see in the Swedish elections and politics compared to the Kenyan one. And maybe there are some similarities too. So here in Sweden we have like 8 different parties, and 3 of the parties are normally on the left side, and 4 of the parties are normally on the right side in the politics. That would be the left side to be socialistic, and the right side to be more capitalistic, liberal in their view. So the 3 socialistic groups, they normally join together after the election, and the 4 capitalistic groups, they also join together. Now, what complicates things is there's another party, the Swedish Democrats, and they are a mixture of different things, and they have another main agenda is really about the issue of restricting immigration from refugees situations. So those are the things here, and that's something small about about that, and it's very, very, very based on ideology when it comes to the parties. In Kenya, however, there are also many, many different parties, but how they join together are differently. And in general, it's not so much about ideology, but it's about community. So in Sweden, we don't have the sense of community. We have the sense of really being together, being a nation, being one people. The only different tribe we have are the Sami people, but they have been conquered by the Swedish. We have colonized them, I would say. And they are still allowed to have their culture and those things, but they are very few in people, and they are now very assimilated into the Swedish culture. But in Kenya, communities, tribes are so strong still. So big areas of people are still very, very, very strongly for a certain group of people, and they don't mix. Places where they mix is in towns, but in the rural areas, there's no mixture of the tribes. And in Kenya, there are so many tribes. They say there's 43 tribes, but to me, that's not true. I would say it's maybe. I would say it's more like nine different like categories. 9, 10, something like that. And then the other ones are sub-tribes. And an example of this is the Kikuyu. the Meru, the Embu, and the Kamba. They are so similar. I would consider them to be like a tribe. But now, if you put them into communities, it is more like, okay, Kikuyus, they are united, Merus are united, Kambas are united, and in that sense, it's more correct. But ethnically, culturally, linguistic, usually they are very similar to each other. So in Kenya, this is how people vote. They vote on the leaders and the parties that is from the community, and they have many different communities. And all these communities, or most of these communities, they have their own leaders. And then there's some communities like the Maasai, they don't really have their own. So they are, Maasai is one group that are divided. 50% they vote for another group, and 50% vote for another group. And then in Kenya you have these big tribes. You have the Kikuyus, you have the Kalenjins, and you have the Luas, and those are the major political players. And you'll find the leaders that are most likely to be put in very big positions and be presidents are from these three communities. And so far, presidents have only been from Kalenjins and from Kikuyus. And when it comes to ideology, you'll find the community and culture and those things are very strong in so many people's lives today. People are really following leaders, really following others. They are following families, family structures, and those things. And that doesn't exist in Sweden. We are so free here. And in terms of thinking, in terms of our lives, in terms of everything, we don't follow our family. We do our own things. But in Kenya, you follow your family. If your dad votes for one tribe, for one party, the mother also votes, and the children also votes, and everyone votes in the same person. Except for a few tribes, like the Maasai now, where it's divided, and some others. So, but in Sweden, we are really like, this is my ideology, this is what I think, and I will vote for that. In Kenya, it's not the same. But there is some differences in the ideology, because these tribes, they have that culture and beliefs from the culture. So you find some tribes like the Jaluas, they are most socialistic in their approach of life in general from their culture. And you'll find the politics are more socialistic based, to share resources. While the Kikuyus are more capitalistic. They're more like, okay, you want a good life, work hard. And the politics is more about development. It is more about making it possible for companies to generate wealth and grow and those things. But it's not so much for sharing, because that's not what they believe. But the Jaluos, in that sense, they believe, okay, we should share, we should put resources in education and all those other things. So that's some kind of ideology. Yeah. So in Kenya, you'll find the whole family might vote for the same thing. Here in Sweden, it's not. In Kenya, there's a lot of like, okay, I vote for this, blah blah blah, and you're my enemy. It's almost like you become my enemy. You're voting for that person. It's like, it's kind of rough. While in Sweden, it's secret. We might say our opinions and share our opinions, but in the end, you'll not know what people vote. And this makes a confusion today. In Sweden right now, there is a party that so many people see like they are racist, they are not friendly to foreigners, or they have an approach that is unfriendly for those things. So many are showing hatred to the Swedish Democrats because of this issue, and they are shocked because 1/5 of the population are now voting in these guys, and there's so many. They are so like, how can you vote on these people? How can you? Because like in Sweden, we are so far from being racist. We are so far from that ideology. People cannot believe. People cannot understand. They want to fight for ending that thing. Yeah, and that's another discussion, I would say. Okay, there are other differences, and that's now when it comes for believing in the democratic system. Here in Sweden, we actually believe, and this is a very, very important thing. Democracy is a very important thing. That we vote is a very important thing. There are quite a number of people that doesn't vote, but in general, many people vote. And there is a lot of belief in the system. There's no one that really believes there is any cheating. And this is really a foundation for it to be functional democratically. While in Kenya, there is a lot of disbelief. There's belief, there's cheating in voting in like 100 different ways. Examples of this are, some people have fake IDs, so they vote with those fake IDs. Example of this is those who take your votes. There's a mistrust in these people that they will guide you wrongly, so they can tell you to, okay, if you want to vote on this person, you should click the other person, so you will vote this guy out. Because people are not as learned and understanding, that could happen. Or they can say, okay, click here and put an X here or something, and that will make that vote to be disqualified. It cannot be voted in the system. Other examples of this is beliefs of those in power to put more voting material that can be cheated on, like papers that will be put in the boxes, voting cards that will be there, but it has never been voted by people. It's just manipulated in the system. There's belief that when information is transmitted from the voting stations, there's so much extreme beliefs. There's a lot of problems with the legitimacy of the voting. The numbers cannot be correct. But in Sweden, we believe here that there's no cheating, and we believe if you would recount, it will be the same. If anything, here it's because people have been voting and maybe there is a calculation error somewhere. But for someone to cheat, we believe those who are put in the positions, normal Swedish people, we believe in them. We believe there's trust in them. In Kenya, this trust is a rare rare equity. It's a very rare resource. Yeah. So there are many differences, and it's very interesting to see this. In Sweden, how you get information about the vote, the different parties and what they stand for, you'll search on the internet, and there are debates. Not a lot of information is debates on the media, on news outlets, on YouTube, and they will have interviews, or maybe the leaders from the different parties will be there, and there will be a discussion, and there will be a small group of people who will be there attending. In Kenya, a lot of the politics is like, okay, we go to this place, and then we will have thousands of people, they will have a stage, and then they will talk to thousands of people like this, and blah, 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 this is what we want, this is what we want. In Sweden that happens, but not very common, and if you find many people, it's maybe 50 people who will come and listen to that politician. So there are some differences there too. Here they now, like 2-3 weeks before voting, they put like a lot of material to along the roads. There's this commercial, vote on us, this is what we stand for, this is what you will get when you vote for us, this is the person, blah 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 blah. So yeah. I guess there's so much to discuss about this issue. And when it comes to now some other differences, here in Sweden we have a parliament, yes, and we have a prime minister, and we still have the king, and so we have the prime minister and we have ministers and those things. And in Kenya you have president and vice president. That could be seen like a prime minister too, but vice president, I guess. Or deputy president. And and ministers and those things. And in Sweden we have these 3 elections. You vote for the national voting. You vote for the county, I would say, land, and then you vote also in your sub-county or ward, and it's just the same in Kenya. While in Sweden, it really matters. Yeah, it matters a lot actually on the national level. I guess more than on the local level. But in Kenya, the local level is really important. Who is the leader? Yeah. So that's some differences. And then in corruption, yeah, we do see our politicians to be slightly corrupt in Sweden, but not really. But in Kenya, you find that these are the times for kings and lords. So you'll put in your kings and lords who will rule over you. while in Sweden they have to serve you, so that's quite a big difference. Kenya, you can find, especially these community leaders, these ward leaders, the county leaders, the governors. There's a lot of money that they put in their pockets. There's a lot of infrastructure that they build from that money. There's a lot of money. And to go into politics in Kenya, you have to have a lot of money too, because it's very costly. While in Sweden, it's about ideology, it's about being charismatic, it's about being able to talk well, and those things. While in Kenya, it's about talking well, but people also expect some money. So how I see politics in Kenya, especially the local ones, if you don't give some small money, people will not come for when you bring people to speak to them. If you don't give them small money, they might not vote for you. So yeah, there's some differences, I would say. So those are the general ones. I wanted to some things I've been observing, and if I'm saying things that's not correct to you, sure, just let me know. And if you're learning something new, that's great. If you like more of this observation, please tell me, please subscribe, and those things. And please like the video if you like the information. So thanks so much for listening. Talk to you next time.